And then we'll get started here on the back. So in the morning, we tend to be a little stiffer. We haven't had the whole day behind us to loosen up our muscles and our bodies. Yes, we might be sitting in chairs or doing things that are unkind, but we are kind of warming up through movement. Even if you've been up for 2 or 3 hours, you still might not be as limber as you would be, say, at 5:30. So as you lay here in this Savasana-like position, what do you notice going on? Does the back feel a little bit stiff? The shoulders? I'm going to have my wrists rolled open, my palms to the ceiling, inviting in a little energy for the rest of the day. But I'm also actively trying to soften my body. Little movements, little wiggles. You know, we spend our whole practice sort of preparing our bodies for Savasana. So this first one, when you first come into it at the beginning of class, it might be hard to get those little wiggles off. Get into your most comfortable place. Get familiar with your body, what's going on this morning. It may have been different from last night. And then once you have that little increase in body awareness, take the right hand to the belly and the left over the heart. Physically feeling the breath rise and fall. Inhales, getting a little deeper. So not thinking about the day ahead of you. And inhaling deeply into this present moment. Finding space and clarity you could take with you the rest of the day. And I always give you the option, maybe you'd like to set an intention. And the great thing about a morning practice is you can set an intention for the rest of your day. Or maybe you'd like to just focus on your breath, on present moment. Take one more round of breath. Your biggest inhale of the morning so far. Sigh out. Draw your knees into your chest, nice and slow. A little hug. Wake up your low back and take a little rock. Big inhale. Exhale, squeeze and hug. And rock. And then just set the knees to the right, leaving both your shoulders against your mat or the floor if you're not using one. How does your back feel this morning? Again, you may have been up since 5 o'clock, but maybe you notice it's still a little tight from sleep. Head facing the ceiling, maybe a look to the left. Warming up the whole spine for the rest of our practice and the rest of our day. Pull your head center. Draw your knees to chest. Exhale, a releasing hug. Take a rock. And gently tip your knees to the left. Reach, facing ceiling, or a look to the right. Be kind to yourself in these first couple poses. We're warming up. Not just for the class, but for the entire day ahead of us. My friend Oscar is back and joining us this morning. Bring your head center, face the ceiling. Take a look to the left and roll onto your left side completely. Just like how we'd come out of Savasana. Oh, press up. How's the spine this morning? Finding some length. I know I feel a little warmer after those twists. Take the hands to the knees. Lift up, kind to the low back, not forcing up. Let's see if Oscar will let me take a Sufi grind. Inhaling chest over legs. And exhaling an arc. Inhaling over. Exhaling rounding. Lots of space in the spine. Connecting breath to the flow. Just like we would in cat and cow. Exhale's a nice big arc. Inhale's a press. Anybody? Let's reverse direction. So pause so you can keep the breath pattern. And I know I've talked to some students and they say they prefer to actually exhale going forward and inhale rounding back. And really, as long as you're connecting breath to movement, I'm okay if you change up a little bit. Whatever works for you. My house is very active in the morning, if you can't tell. Alright, let's come in for one more round. And then we'll inhale. Find the length in the spine. We'll come to our hands and knees. Let's wake up the shoulders. Oscar, I'm going to need you to get out of the way just a little bit, bud. Inhale, hand up, right hand first. Roll your wrists, a little heat, and reach your fingers as far as they'll go. So I always give you the option of taking left hand under left shoulder, of walking it in front of you, or taking it behind your low back. Now we are still very much warming up here. If you wanted to just hold the shoulder stand, I understand, or I should say the shoulder opener. But if you wanted to play with floating your left toes this morning, see if you couldn't line them up with your left hip, that might be kind of fun. And then we'll take our left knee down. We'll plant our left hand under our left shoulder. Let's inhale, big sweep and reach. And right hand down. Take a round of cat and cow. Oscar, you should be doing this with me. And back to neutral. Inhale, sweep left up. Couple wrist rolls. And then send your fingers as far as they'll go, coming on to left shoulder. You know, you can change up the hand variation. I like to begin with a hold. And then if you took your left toes up, Do it now here on the right. Optional though. Truly, if you decide to keep your knee tucked in, that's your practice. Alright. Drop right knee, right hand, grounded into the mat. Inhaling, lift up. Big, big reach. Left hand comes down. We'll take that set of cat-cow. And then we'll head to neutral. Give the toes a curl. Lift the seat. Find the downward facing. And nice, slow pedals. Pressing and opening up the calves. Let's walk feet to hands, coming into our first forward fold with knees soft. So you know your options are to let your arms hang, to grab elbows, or to interlace behind head. Give the torso a little sway, give the head a little shake. Release the hands and take a nice slow roll to Tadasana. Head, of course, coming up last. Settle shoulders into place. Find some lift in your chest. Are you ready to build the heat with a flow? Inhale, sweep. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come up half. High plank. Let's take it easy on this first one. I'm going to lower to my knees. You don't have to, but we are going to just lower to the bellies. Inhale. First, one hand's free cobra. Exhale, lower. We're going to inhale one more cobra here. A little higher. How does the low back feel? Lower. Downward facing. Lift. Paddle. Inhale, right toes back. And bring foot between hands. Drop the left knee. Uncurl the left toes. Left hand down. Sweep right fingers up. Stacking wrist, open back, right hand comes down, frame the foot, give the left toes a curl under, find your downward facing. Inhale, left toes up. Bring foot between hands. We're going to set right knee down, uncurl, right hand spread wide, grounded. Inhale, lift up. Just a little wake-up twist for the back. And left comes down. Right toes curl. We're going to step to the top. We'll inhale a half lift, big reach. Exhale, dive. And inhale to bring the hands up. Catch your right wrist. Exhale over to the left. Open right side body. Full body stretch. Inhale, center. Grab left. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, hinge. Come up half. high plank. Flow. You could still come to the belly if you're ready to play with chaturanga by all means. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Downward facing. Ground through thumb and index, spread fingers. Take a moment to return to breath or intention. Inhale, right toes up. Step right foot between the hands. Open left foot 45 degrees. So the top left toes are angling towards the left corner of your mat. Warrior one. Knees stacked. Pressing through pinky edge. Really mindful of your left knee here as you start to bring the hips forward to a degree. Always a call I'm very conscious of. We don't really want our hips facing completely forward if that's not what works for your knee or your low back. And remember, our low backs are still warming up. So big inhale. Exhale, shoulders away. Alright, all but a hint of softness comes out of right knee. I actually set my foot in a little bit for balance sake. Setting up my triangle pose. I'm going to take one more big inhale. And then I'm going to hinge at my waist. Now if I had you in a regular class, usually what I do here is say grab a block or two, so that way you can fold forward but keep length in your spine. If you have one of those makeshift props, by all means, if you want to use it, go for it. You'll see other people take this pose with hands by the sides. Even with my fingers on the mat, I can still put a lot of length in my spine. You can play with hinging for a deeper stretch. But now say you don't have a makeshift block, and that's a little bit too far. You could come up higher. You'll see people use their shins or keep their hands on their hips, finding length. So there's a way to get around not having props, but still being true to your own body. You do what feels good for you. Keeping a hint of softness in right knee, because you know how I feel about hyperextending. And then we'll inhale, come up. We'll sink back to warrior one. And then let's open up warrior two. So pinky edge going a little bit more parallel to the back of the mat. You can always angle those toes up just a hair if that takes pressure out of your knee. Knee on ankle. Open right knee so much that you can see your big toe, inside hip opener. Gaze over front right fingers. Inhale, fill. Right elbow down. Either on the knee as you reach left hand overhead. Could be in front of knee. You could drop fingers. I'm going to still keep reaching my left fingers. I want this nice side body stretch. If you've got a makeshift block, you don't have to quite drop your fingers into the mat, but you can go a little bit deeper. So now here's what I like to offer. A half bind, left hand to the low back. I love this shoulder stretch. It's a little intense, feels really good. See how my left shoulder is nice and open as I try and stack it over my right. Inhale, come back up. Find warrior two one more time. Cartwheel, frame. Drop the left knee down. Uncurl your left toes. Shift back. My right leg's talking to me, even though we took that really lovely pyramid pose, that deep stretch. If you have the makeshift block, here's what I do if you only have one item. Put it behind. Lengthen spine. Still getting a nice big hinge for the back of the right leg. No makeshift block? No worries. Coming up high on the fingertips, maybe adding a little extra bend. Being kind to your body wherever it's at this morning. I'm going to inhale, find a little length. Hinge my heart towards my knees. Breathing deep into my right hamstring. All right. Makeshift block goes off to the side. We're walking forward. Low lunge. Give the left toes a curl under. We are going to take a flow here. We're going to step back to high plank. And with control. Ready? Lower. Tops of feet down, whether you come all or halfway. Inhale, back bend, pressing feet. Curl toes, lift sleep. Pedal. Note the differences between the right and left leg now that one has been stretched and one hasn't. Inhale, sweeps left toes up. Left foot comes between hands. Right foot opens 45. So remember, pinky edge of back foot, very important here. How much you turn your hips forward, not as important. Everyone's going to be somewhere different. But how does your low back feel? More open now? And then the next thing, take a peek. My heels sort of line up. It's what works for me. I'm a little narrow hipped. But some people like to come wider, almost complete separate train tracks. Perfectly okay if that makes this pose accessible for you. Remember, not introducing tension to the shoulders. And then all but a hint of softness comes out of right. Strong, steady stance. I'm going to take my hands to my hips. I'm going to inhale up, and I'm going to exhale, hinge. So see, lock free, lying back, still getting this intense stretch back here. If you're like, no, I feel unsteady, hand to shin, fingers to mat, framing foot, or makeshift block. And that could be in front or behind. Don't forget your hint of softness. And I love to hold the pyramid and give it time to really work open the back of the left leg. Alright, yogis, let's inhale, come back up. Hands overhead, sink into knee, and then open up, step open, warrior two. Gaze over your front left fingers, knees stacking. I'm going to flip so you can see me here in front. So we talked about opening up knee, so you can see your big toe, nice little inside hip opener. We're pressing through pinky edge, safe knee. Each leg doing about 50% of the work. Grounded. We talked about heel alignment. Could be heel and arch, or heel and heel if you like that wider stance. Perfect. So big inhale. Left down. Right fingers reaching. Change it how you like. Elbow inside. You can rest the elbow, but just try and use your core if you're resting. Inside. Maybe fingers dropping. Still a big reach with right. Half bind, maybe. Oh, I love half binds for the fronts of the shoulders. Big inhale. And then we come back up. Long, strong, gaze over right. Cartwheel frame. That drops right knee down. Just that holding of that extended side angle. Have my left leg talking to me a little bit. So shift back. See how my hips are tracking over my knee. My left knee softly straight. I'm going to grab my makeshift prop here. Even this like 2 inches of height really helps me ease my body into the pose. Not forcing open the stretch. No worries if you don't have the block. Just take those little modifications to make this posture accessible for you. Ready to walk forward, frame. We're meeting in our low lunge. We're curling our right toes under. This time around, we're going to skip the flow. And we're going to find downward facing. So we're going to take something that looks a lot like that same series. We're going to float right toes up, give a little reach. Take right foot between the hands, open left, warrior one. I like to take some of the same poses twice in a class so you can really take note of what's changed in your body. Heightened body awareness, muscle memory taking over so you can truly focus on breath, on intention, all but a hint of softness out. Big hinge, back to pyramid. We've been here before. Are you using a block, a book? In front or behind? All right, yogis, I'm going to take it one step further into a balance pose. Here's the catch. If you don't feel very stable on your props you found from home, you might want to just stay here or even give this pose a shot with your hands on the mat. I'm going to pick up my left toes, spin them to the front, and I'm going to start to step off to a straight right leg. Hint of softness in knee. Grounded foot, heel, ball. So it doesn't matter if your left toes hover off the mat or if they come 3, 4, 5 feet in the air. What matters is that your left hip is pointed down towards the mat. Your right knee is soft. Big, big stretch in the right leg. And then left toe step back. Right foot steps back. Downward facing dog. Skipping the flow one more time. Noting the differences between the legs. Inhale, left up. Step foot. Right foot opens, 45. Warrior one. We've been here before, soften shoulders. How's your low back now? Feel like a brand new low back? I sure hope so. All but a hint. Big hinge. Are you finding something to put your hands on? Or are you just finding the floor? No worries. As long as you are listening to your body. Keep that hint of softness behind. Yogis, this is an excellent pose, so if you're not coming into the balance, staying here is an awesome option. It's going to give you so much length and release for anyone with tight hamstrings. And if you want to play with that balance, spread the fingers nice and grounded, pick upright, heel, spin right toes to the front. And as you step off, find those connection points in the left foot. Don't fist up your foot. Left knee soft. Your right toes can hover. If that's what it takes to find the balance, you're still going to make a lot of strength in your left leg. Or maybe you float, keeping your hip pointed down. How does this standing splits feel? It's an intense one. This is where I certainly notice the difference. My left leg is so much tighter. And this time when I step my right foot back, we will take the flow, stepping left foot back, landing in high plank, lowering all or half. We'll inhale, back bend, down dog. Move, head up, open, release. All right. Forearms to the mat, down dog bottom. A little dolphin pose. Bigger stretch in the calves. We've been giving our legs lots of love. Walk the toes back. Forearm plank. Left fingers over to right elbow. Take a little roll to your left side. Side plank. It's a doozy. If you need to drop your left knee down, you're going to make it really accessible while still working your core. And we know that a strong core is essential to a strong practice. Lower your head. Extend your left arm out in front. Cradle your head with your hand and put a little bend in your right knee. Catch the top of your foot. So last night we played with bows, half and full. And we noticed how it felt in our quad. Today in this Vishnu's couch, we're just giving all the love to our quad. And I suppose a little for the hip flexor. If you're jumping on your computer to go to work after this, you'll be thankful that you open this front part of your body that sort of contracts when we sit. Alright, yogis, release your foot, head to your belly, chin or forehead down, interlace fingers. We are going to come up to a full locust. I know, but we've been warming up our backs for this moment, so no have. Complete exhale, and inhale, chest up, legs up, giving heels a little squeeze, knuckles reaching for the heels. If you do not like fingers interlaced, by all means, just take hands by the side. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bring length. One more. And one more. Bend your knees. Windshield wiper your feet. Before we take that whole series now on the opposite side, I want you to take palms under your shoulders. Inhale, roll up through a table and find your child. Filling up with breath here. Sort of cementing your intention for the day, breathing it down deep into your body. Sighing out anything that won't serve you during the day. Inhale, come up. And we're truly going to take that whole series. Spread through the fingers, curl the toes, lift the seat, downward facing. Head up. Forearms down. Back to dolphin. Are your calves feeling a little more open? What's going on here? Toes walk back. Forearm plank. Ooh, it's not easy. Right fingers, left elbow. Take your roll to the left side. Lift up your hips. So I have my feet one stacked in front of the other, or staggered in front of the other. You can stack one on top. Don't forget, you can always drop your knee. You're still going to build up that strong core strength. And then we're going to lower the hip down. Take our elbow out in front. Cradle our head. Left knee's going to bend. Really trying to line up the knees here. Just getting a nice quad stretch while being safe with our knee. It's almost like a reclined dancer here, this Vishnu's couch. I love it. You get that same quad stretch, but without focusing on the balance. And then we'll release. We'll send our leg long. We'll take our roll. Let's take our hands overhead. It'll be kind of a big back bend, this super yogi lotus variation. So chin or forehead is resting to the mat. Exhale, sigh out. Inhale, lift. Whew. This one always gets me. Inhale, coming up a little higher. Exhaling to find length. One more. Inhale up. Lower, pillow, bend, release back. Send your legs long. Palms underneath. Let's inhale, come up. And back to our child. Big release in the low back. Feel your intuition sort of clear out and focus as you bring that pressure to third eye center. Feel the back open and release. The inhale's going deep into the body. Inhale up to a table. This is it. We're coming to our last back bend. Lower down, no fancy setup. Coming flat. This time we're going to come to just a regular old locust. We've tried a couple variations. So now we're going to see how this feels. Chin, forehead down. Exhale. And the inhale brings us up. Heels, shoulder blades drawing together. Strongest back. Your back is part of your core. So the stronger your back, the stronger your practice. Inhales, lifting, big reach. Exhale, come on down. Bend. Windshield wiper. Legs long. Roll up. I won't stay here terribly long, but I do want to take one final child to just find release in the low back. Of course, if you're opening your knees, by all means, you'll still get the stretch, even though it's going to the hips as well. Inhale up, tabletop, and to the seat we go. So if you tuned in last night, we took a shoelace, and I want to take the same shoelace, but this time we're going to take it a step further. This will be sort of our introduction, our warm-up. So right knee on top of left, optional cross of left underneath. You want a nice knee stack going on here. If this just isn't sitting right in your hips, no worries. Half shoelace, great place to be. Either way, we're inhaling up and hinging forward. I can't say it enough. If you're in the half, be really mindful of your hamstring. We've done a lot to open it. We really want to be gentle with not only the back of our leg, but the back of our left knee. We talked about bringing like a blanket or a scarf and use of a strap. Even bunching that up under the knee kind of forces you to keep a hint of softness. And then you're taking a fall. Inhaling deep into the hips and exhaling away any tension you might carry in your hips. Inhale, come up, unwind, bend, release. Right's long, left is dropping on top for the half, right is bending underneath for the full. Keep in mind, things might change side to side. If the left hip is your stickier hip, maybe you say, no, half is it. Maybe you're bunching up any makeshift blankets, props to really keep the softness. Taking a little hinge. Inhaling a little bit of length into the back. Ooh, how does that feel on the outsides of the hips? Mine are just a little tight this morning. Inhale a little in. Exhale, big head clearing release. Come up. Length. Unwind. Bend the knees. Find some release. So I had you revisit that pose for a reason. We're going to extend. We're going to take right ankle on left knee. This might look an awful lot like the reclined pigeon we take, and I'm absolutely going to give you that as an option. But I also want to give you double pigeon as an option. Doesn't work for every set of hips and knees out there in the world, so that's why I'll also give you recline. But starting here, right ankle, left knee. Then what I'm going to do is bend my left knee, and I'm going to try and bring my left ankle under my right knee. See how I've kind of got this square shape going on? Ankle, knee, knee, ankle, shin stacked. The reason I asked you to come prepared with a blanket, sometimes you'll notice you get a little bit of a gap between knee and ankle. Not the biggest deal in the world, but for the sake of safety, filling up that gap can make things more comfortable. They can help you ease in and actually open up. Maybe even take a little hinge forward. So there's your option. And if you're like, you know what? I'm one of those people that this just isn't working for, you come to the back. See how they're very similar poses? I do a lot of reclined pigeon in my classes because I love it. But a double pigeon's really nice. So if you have this square stack, and especially if you've got a little bit of filling, you might hinge forward, but not too far. You want to be kind to your right hip. No forcing, never any forcing. Inhaling a little length, sighing out. Now if you have no filling, right, you've got this neat stack and you want to take it a step further, I like to walk over to the left. It's always towards the top foot. Ooh, that's a big stretch. So back off if it's not the stretch for you. Whatever variation you've chosen, big inhales, thought clearing, head clearing exhales. Walk up, nice and slow, easing out, finding length. Uncross, bottom first, then top. Ooh, bend. Always releasing with the windshield wiper of the knees. Right leg extends. Left drops on top. So maybe you're playing with bending right, seeing if you can't get a stack going. See, I have more of a natural gap here. My left is definitely my tighter hip, and that's okay. You can always just sort of fill it up. So there's that double pigeon, or sometimes called fireside bugs, because you've got this beautiful stack here. If this is not your pose, you know. You can take your reclined, and reclined is just so fantastic because you can adjust. You can decide how close you want to pull it in, or if you want to leave a little more slack. I'm going to take this double. Alright. Putting length in the spine. If you're here, you're comfortable. Maybe you have a little bit of stuffing to close any gaps. Maybe you're taking a gentle hinge forward. Going deeper into the stretch, but not forcing, nothing scary. If you're feeling good, a little warmed up, maybe you want to come off towards your right foot, by all means. Check in with left hip. Is everything feeling good and safe? What can you let go of here in your hips? What could you sigh out? Here for just a few more rounds, wherever you're at in the pose. I should say a few more rounds of breath. So let's start inhaling our palms up. Or if you're reclined, exhaling your right foot to the mat. Either way, whether you're reclined or double pigeoning, feet to the mat, knees windshield wipering. it onto your back if you're not already there. No fancy setup. So we started on our backs. Now when we come back, do you feel a little bit looser? Do you find this really neutral spine against the floor? Take your left leg long. Draw your right knee to your chest. Exhale, a big squeeze. Drop your knee over towards your armpit. And then grab your foot wherever it's accessible. Maybe it's your ankle. Foot up to the ceiling, knee open to the room. Just a happy baby here. Maybe a little bit more intense on the inside of the hip. Hi, Oscar. Oscar's back. Sorry, buddy. Tuck your right knee into your chest. Exhale, big squeeze. And then left hand takes it across the body, ending twist. I'm going to drop my ankle here on the mat. Maybe you want to do the same thing. If it's not accessible, you could hover. I do prefer to keep my left hand on my knee, adding a bit of weight. I'm going to reach my fingers away and take a look to the right. Oh, big back twist, deeper than the one we took at the beginning of class. My back's ready for it now. Hey, Oscar, I don't think the people can see. Bring the head center. Take the leg back across. Give it a nice hug. Exhale, squeeze. Send your right leg long. Inhale, left up. First the hug and the squeeze and the drop to the left. And then grabbing where you can, outside or inside of foot. It's going to be a little bit different, this happy baby. For me, it's more intense. Make those little adjustments that help work for your body. Rounding out this full hip opening. And then give your knee a hug, a squeeze. Right hand takes it across. I'm dropping my ankle. This side isn't as accessible though. It doesn't come down quite as easily. A little reach of my left fingers. I am going to take the look to the left. If that hurts your neck, face the ceiling. Head center, leg across, big hug. Take right up to merit. One last little hug, a rock. And then exhale to where we began our time together today. Sinking deep into the mat. Muscles in the face soft. Hands released. Ankles rolled open. Body. Let the breaths roll in and out like ocean waves. Find yourself sinking deeper into your mat. Inhale deeply. Inhale, wake up, the hands and the feet open and close the fingers, give them a wiggle. Roll wrists, ankles. Oh, stretch, take a look to the right, take a look to the left. Lots of length and energy. The body a little bit looser for the rest of the day. Come to your side. Pause. Press up. Yogis, as always, thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste.